Welcome to Company Insights. My name is Alan Lipchin, and on the show today we have a leading sales and marketing agency, a company whose main goal is to help startups close their first 100 deals, and who just recently signed their 50th customer within 2 years. To tell us more, we have the co-founders, Simon Gersler and Robert Curtis. Gents, welcome. Great to have you on the show.
Thanks for inviting us.
So Simon, tell me, you started off selling business suits to Boris Johnson, and now you're the CEO of Pipe Global. How did that happen?
So I did a couple of years selling suits to busy city executives. That was a great grounding for sales. It was all relationship based. But back in 2000, when the dot-com boom started, that's when I actually started working in technology sales. So that's when I built up the experience. And actually, when I moved to Israel in 2004, I kept my job in the UK. So I was probably one of the first inside sales professionals before the term was even invented. I was selling remotely via Skype with a UK number, and I was servicing clients remotely from Israel without even going to see them. So the journey just continued, and eventually had a couple of exits on the way. And with that knowledge base, set up Pipe Global alongside Robert. And yeah, it was everything, every sale I've made on the journey has helped me advise companies like I do today.
That's amazing. So to Pipe Global, the idea, the name, the concept. Rob, can you share some insights about where the pipe comes from? Where did it start? Where does it end? Where do you see it?
Sure. So for me, it was quite obvious that we should name our company Pipe. We are obsessed with everything that happens within the sales pipeline. So from marketing through to lead generation, sales, closing, and even customer success. So we are, as I say, obsessed with that journey, that customer journey through the pipeline, and we help optimize that for clients. We have the, I guess, secret sauce of knowing how to speed that process up so that they can reach their goals quicker.
So the first 50 companies you work with today, what do you think Pipe does differently to actually get that pipeline moving and active for the customer?
I think for me, it's first of all being a little bit crazy. And I say that sort of tongue in cheek, but it's thinking, not so cliched, out of the box, but really coming up with ideas that are going to motivate people to think differently about your brand, your product, your service. That could be the interactions that they have with your employees. It could be the brand that you're putting out to the world. But we really try and get very hands-on early. We're not big believers in these long strategic processes, and that's probably our differentiation. We plan and work out quickly where you're up to and what you need to do to achieve your goals. And then, as I say, we get very hands-on. We're almost like a member of your team, and we help you achieve those goals.
So, Simon, the current customer list that you have, I see from a lot of your LinkedIn posts a whole host of different product offerings. Do you have a specific industry sector you look to focus on with different companies, or is it effectively the general high-tech arena, and not only in Israel but globally?
So it's definitely global. That's part of our name, Pipe Global. We represent companies all across the world, the UK, the US, even Taiwan. So we work with companies all across the world. But we do have a specific niche, really tech sales and B2B. So that's really our niche, helping companies understand how to approach companies, who to approach, and what's going to attract them to look at the product and ultimately sell that product. And sales, a lot of the actual techniques can be adapted across different products. As Robert said before, what we need to do differently is understand where they're coming from, really understand the product, the sector, and that's where I think we add a different source to the product. And also we're really tying together the sales, the marketing, and the people, those three elements. So working that way end to end, we can have a real impact and value for our customers.
That's amazing. Looking at that and just using that as the starting point, the current assessment of the current sales and business development climate in Israel, how do you see that changing and evolving within the current climate that we're dealing with at the moment?
I think it's moving as clearly to more of an inside sales, remote sales model. Because I lived in Israel from 2004, I've been used to selling remotely, as I said, and we were selling it in a previous company when we worked together to North America mainly. So we had to be selling in their time zone but remotely. We weren't going on site to visit them all the time. So we've already spent decades between us perfecting that model, perfecting the approach, whether it be on the phone, via email, via LinkedIn, using video, etc. Lots of different techniques that we can then harness across different companies, again taking into account their unique proposition.
I think what's interesting, just to add to what Simon said, is the change in the marketplace around how companies act when it comes to their pipeline. So the way that we approach every client is from the minute a lead enters the funnel all the way through to it closing as a customer, and then the journey that they have with you once they are a customer, is how you're reducing friction for that process. How are you allowing your potential client to enjoy your brand and your product quickly, and to take them through that journey so that they become a customer really easily. Reducing that friction is the key at all stages of the pipeline, and that's what we really try and focus on.
So what's interesting is that obviously with COVID coming into play across the global environment, and it's obviously affected everyone and everyone that is involved in business and sales, no matter what you do. How do you see Pipe pivoting to deal with this new reality, this new normal that everyone's facing? I know the remote work is definitely something that's come out of that, and you can see that you can do your job whether you're at home or whether you're at the office, but how do you see Pipe pivoting and dealing with that?
I think it's important to get teams on the same page. So you've got sales teams, marketing teams that are sitting remotely. They might be going to the office 2 or 3 times a week. How do you ensure consistency across brands? So I'm not in the office, I can't hear what someone's saying. As a manager and a leader, and we fulfill the head of marketing outsource role, head of sales outsource role, how can we ensure that the same messaging has been delivered consistently and effectively? And that's part of what we do in terms of the training, the coaching, building out sales and marketing playbooks for the companies that we work with.
I think to add on to what Simon said there as well, is that something that we've had to pivot into as well during COVID was really helping those sales and marketing teams embrace technology in a way that they weren't doing before. So whether it was how they optimize their Salesforce.com database or any of the others that they might be using, how to employ Slack or Microsoft Teams to enable messaging and quicker communication between the sales team, to create that oil between the parts that we experienced when we were growing up in sales. There's nothing like being in the room.
Yeah, face to face.
You've got to be in the room, and that sort of water cooler moment where you're chatting with a colleague, that has to come into the world of digital, and that is an important element that keeps a sales team being lean, mean, and achieving their goals.
So on that, are you able to share some insights with us and our viewers as to what you've done and how you've taken customers through that Pipe journey and taken them from zero to hero in ensuring that they work with COVID? You've got the water cooler moments, whether you're in the office, whether you're remote. How have you share with us some stories as how you see and how you've done with customers, making them, changing and growing their development and their sales?
For me, I always hold by 3 pillars of any project. Start with assessment, build the strategy, and then move to implementation. And the bulk of the work should be on implementation. There's nothing like doing in terms of learning. So we approach every project with those 3 key pillars. And I think we're just really good, if I can blow our own trumpet, at cutting through very quickly the journey that they need to map in order to go from A to B to achieve their sales goals. So helping a client very quickly understand what is their key messaging, what is the value proposition, what story do they want to tell and show to their clients to enable them to drive and move through the funnel. And then on top of that, really being able to take those principles of planning and implementation particularly into the sales team and actually say, how are you moving those deals forward? How to be that servant leader or that mentor as a VP sales to get your team to do what it is that you need them to do to achieve the target ultimately, and to enable those clients.
And it's also about building teams. So in some organisations we worked with or advised, the marketing and sales are seen as 2 completely separate functions. That's completely the wrong approach, because we understand the journey from the first approach to a client all the way through to a signed order. We know how to link sales and marketing together. Some clients we work just on the sales side, some on the marketing side, and we've got a number now where we're working all the way through from first outreach through to the deal closing. And I think it's understanding both parts of that journey, and maybe that's what distinguishes us from other companies in the market, the fact that we're able to understand where marketing comes in and where sales comes in and how they work together through the process to close a deal.
It's that sharpness that I think companies just need to really focus on. Yes, you can build brand. Yes, you can build the most beautiful brochure out there. But too often I've gone into companies where it wasn't clear who their target market was. They hadn't built a database of that target market, so they weren't telling their story to them. And that couldn't then connect to sales. So the whole journey has to be aligned. And that's what I think that we really enjoy doing. Coming in and just very quickly, as I say, analysing the situation, saying, do this, this and this will help us start a journey towards more success.
So where's Pipe going in the next 2 to 5 years? Where do you see, I mean, you've told me amazing things about how you've taken companies from zero to hero, from getting into 100 deals, from sharing with them the dealing with COVID, the remotes, the face-to-face, the water cooler moments. Where's Pipe going in the next 2 to 5 years? Where do you see the business?
I think for us, we want to be known as the go-to home when companies are on that journey, or when they're looking to expand, or even when they're more established, growing into new markets, that we're the go-to home that they will come to say, we need Pipe to be able to get to that destination first and fastest, and those are the guys who can do it for us.
Yeah, there's too many companies, again, we've called in sometimes when something's gone wrong. They've hired a VP sales maybe too early in the process, who isn't so hands-on, isn't prepared to do the dirty work like we're doing, and we're hopefully making sure that companies don't make mistakes and they can get to their target goals much quicker, whether that's going from 0 to 5 million or 5 million to 10 million. We can help them hopefully get it right the first time.
I think I've seen with some of the companies that we're working with, particularly at the moment, they may have raised a good amount of money, they have an incredible product, and they are now looking to get to their targets as quickly as possible, and bringing in experienced know-how in how to do that, to put those building blocks in place, because we've trodden that ground before. We don't know everything, and there'll be things that we learn too along that journey, but we do know that there are certain things that if you do them well and correct from the outset, it can lead you to getting to your destination quicker.
Yeah, and if you look at people's CVs in their career, a lot of them maybe worked at 2 or 3 companies. Sometimes maybe they work for a company with an amazing product, and maybe part of it was down to the product rather than their own intuition and techniques that they used. The fact that we've worked across dozens of companies over the last few years and be able to apply things from one to another, I think gives us a significant advantage over hiring someone, even internally, who might be more of a business risk than a company or personnel that have done it time and time again.
I think the example I would give is, a client, for example, who wanted to set up a partner network. And we agreed with them, this would be the fastest route to getting their product out to the marketplace. So we helped them build that partner network. We're extremely hands-on. And within 6 weeks, they'd already reached their 2022 goals based on the infrastructure that we put in place. And again, it's not just about advising and consulting in a sort of McKinsey style way. We get into the pit with them. And as I say, assessment, strategy, but 50-60% of our time is on implementation with the client.
Yeah, so you're getting your hands dirty, you're involved, you're not scared to get deep and dirty with the customer.
100%.
Yeah.
At least Simon.
Simon and Robert, amazing having you on the show. I loved every minute of it. I'm excited what Pipe Global has in the future. I'm sure everyone else is as well. And I look forward to watching the journey for Pipe Global. Thank you. Amazing having you on the show. Thank you for watching Company Insights. Look out for the next chapter.